Here's your smart fact of the day.
Did you know how many people do an MBA every year? 250,000 people try to do an MBA every year. Not try to, but actually take admission in. And out of them, 150,000 people are into US business schools. And do you know what the average age of the guy doing an MBA in the US is? A little different from India, but it's about 27. Why am I comparing the US with India? Because it kind of showcases the way in which Indians look at the MBA degree as if it's just another master's degree. Welcome to Smarter with Sid. And in today's episode, I wanted to focus on when not to do an MBA rather than when you should be doing an MBA. There might be a lot of considerations that have escaped your mind if you're trying to do an MBA, which I think you can consider after listening to this episode. And hey, if you're giving some advice to somebody who's kind of thinking of doing their MBA, whether you're a parent or a relative or somebody else, maybe you should also consider this. So let's go. So here's the context, right? I always shudder a bit whenever somebody asks me for advice. Now, these people might be very well-meaning. They might say, okay, I'm going to talk to a professor and get the best possible advice about whether I should be doing my MBA. Now, after all, this guy teaches in an MBA college, but also maybe teaching in an undergraduate college and also teaches online learners and stuff like that. So, who better to ask? So they come with great intentions and great sincerity. And I shudder because I think this answer has to be tailor-made for each and every person, right? You cannot have blanket answers. Yeah, you should go and do your MBA, or you should not do your MBA, or whatever. But having spoken to so many people and across different streams, mind you, there are people who are doing their undergraduation and they're saying, oh, I'm going to take all of my competitive exams and do this MBA thing immediately afterwards. Maybe because, I want to finish all of my education at one go. Or the second type of people who are working quite a bit and maybe they think that they're a little late in doing their MBA. And then suddenly they get this urge, okay, maybe I should earn more because they've kind of reached a stumbling block in their career and they don't know how to move ahead or get promoted. And they see people who are doing their MBAs actually get fantastic salaries and stuff like that. So maybe that's the second bunch of people. It's not as if these second bunch of people are not learning, mind you. A lot of them are doing their digital marketing programs or some other programs that are upskilling themselves. But so I get a wide variety of questions around this, or rather the same question from a wide variety of people, right? And having seen so many of these guys ask me, I thought maybe I'll put out some standard caveats on when not to do an MBA rather than when you should do an MBA, because I think it all boils down to preparation. When I say preparation, it doesn't mean just preparing for the competitive exam that will get you into a good college. But what you must do is actually prepare your understanding about why an MBA is important for you. Now, you might end up doing a different master's, right? After your graduation. You could continue doing an MSc or an MA or whatever it may be. Why an MBA? What's the need? In fact, why a master's is another good question. But at least let's focus on the MBA right now. So if I look at the master's or the MBA, the core aspect of why an MBA is because I want to get it finished. Or, I'm getting lesser money than what somebody else is getting. And all of these are negative. But how about looking at it like this? You're going to spend 2 years doing your MBA. So clearly, whatever money you're earning right now, or whatever money you can earn by getting a job in 2 years, whatever the average market rate is, you're not going to earn. Also, you're going to spend a lot of money paying fees. Hey, you might go abroad for your MBA, right? Or you might go and do it at a pretty expensive MBA school. So you look at the opportunity cost. You look at including the salary that you've lost. You look at the real world experience that you're going to lose. It's difficult to quantify that, but hey, 2 years of experience or maybe 1 year in some MBA schools is still quite a lot of experience. And then try to figure out, okay, so what's the normal person coming out of this college? Not the exceptions, mind you, but what's the normal person coming out of this MBA school actually making, and what kind of roles are they doing? And do I really like that? And does that sufficiently entice me? I don't think a lot of people actually focus on these sort of questions. And there's a very good reason why people don't focus on these sort of questions. because they are driven by, I guess, social pressures. And I think social pressures are something that we should ignore when it comes to doing your MBA. Oh, I must do an MBA because I want to get married. I must do an MBA because, what will my family say? What will my friend circle say? What will the rest of the neighborhood say? I think, okay, I understand that you have to live where you are living and you owe it to people to do well and all of that. But putting in 2 years of an education when you could be doing a few other things is very critical. One real interesting aspect that I found out about marketing specifically, and maybe you can extrapolate it to any other field, is that marketers who have some amount of creativity are being preferred by employers because this is the creator economy after all. Now, this tells me of a deeper pattern. It means that whatever specialization that you're trying to achieve through your MBA, right? If it's marketing, maybe what you need to do is go a little deeper in it, right? Being a creator. Maybe if you're in finance, maybe what you need to do is go a little deeper in learning skills around behavioral economics or, I don't know, accounting, I don't know, whatever it may be. Or it could be, something deeper in coaching if you're in HR. I think the world is going to recognize depth rather than just an MBA degree quite soon enough for two reasons. One is that a lot of the undergraduate programs are giving that value which MBA schools about 10 years were giving. As I teach in some really good undergraduate schools, I do know the quality of students and the level of attention that is being paid. And I don't know whether an MBA school is going to add on top of that. So if you're doing an MBA school as a finishing school and as a great brand so that it will give you that kickstart, figure those economics out. But if you're going there for the quality of education, then figure out where you've been educated first and whether you're getting into a good enough MBA school in the first place. Because there are a lot of ordinary MBA schools. And I would heartily recommend not just looking at the school brand if you're going there for an education instead of just the brand name, to look at the professors and to look at whether you're going to really get some value add. And I'm assuming that, you've got some really good value add in your undergraduation. But if you haven't gotten any really good value add in your undergraduation, I would say, then maybe consider it. But when not to do an MBA is when you've got a great undergrad experience. You don't have any work experience. You haven't calculated the ROI. You haven't figured out, whether it is the right thing to be doing for you as an individual rather than societal pressures, so many things. So when not to do an MBA is for all of those reasons. And I think for anybody, who's being asked this advice, a lot of people ask advice to their seniors in the workplace or relatives or family or friends. Do figure out this sort of stuff. It is not just a normal formula that all of us should be following in today's day and age. I hope you like this episode of Smarter with Sid. Many more to come from where this one came from, but this one came from the heart because I've seen a lot of people just make the wrong decision to do a master's before really understanding what they're doing. And I think that if you like this episode and this podcast, do like and subscribe and do connect with me. I'm the traveling professor. I'm on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And if you like podcasts like these, well, people, just check out all the stuff IVM's got for you. On that happy note,